Psalm 49. Men cannot be ransomed or redeemed by wealth. God alone can redeem a soul from the grave. The glory of a rich man ceases with his death. To the chief musician, a psalm for the sons of Korah. Hear this, all ye people, give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heel shall compass me about? They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever, that he should still live forever and not see corruption. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. This their way is their folly. Yet their posterity approve their saying, Selah. Like sheep they have laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me, Selah. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him. Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, and men will praise thee when thou doest well to thyself. He shall go to the generation of his fathers. They shall never see light. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beasts that perish. Now there are two things here in the heading. It says men not redeemed by wealth. But it's not just wealth. I think it's actually talking more specifically about worldly honor and prestige. Because it talks about men put their names on things in a kind of a way of extending their life. It's a man's legacy. He puts his name on it. I named this castle after me. I'm going to name it Castle Atwater. That way my name will continue. But no, it doesn't matter. You're all going to die. And when you die, you can't take that with you. You can't take it with you. Even if your name is remembered on the earth, it doesn't do you any good where you're going. And that's their folly, that they think that by building this prestige, they are kind of in a way securing an eternal life for themselves. They're making themselves immortal in this way, but it doesn't work. The only way to avoid the grave or to come back from death is through Christ. Even this mortal prestige, naming things after us, having our legacy, having a famous family. I mean, some people, especially royal families, can trace their lineage back a long ways. But in the eternities, none of that matters. It's a nice psalm. Before we close off, there is, in this psalm, a Joseph Smith translation. Well, what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is an inspired translation or correction of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that had been lost over the years. In this psalm, verses 7 through 13 have alterations to them. So let me reread the King James and then read the Joseph Smith translation. But before I do reread the King James, there's a note here that says verse 8 is omitted. It's not entirely true. It is simply reordered to be after verse 9. So let us read this. In the King James again. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever. That he should, and that is in parentheses, by the way, verse 8. that he should still live forever and not see corruption. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool, and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perish. This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings. So this is where we get that, they are building up their own houses. They're trying to kind of establish their immortality through their legacy, through their families, through their family name. Okay, Joseph Smith translation. None can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him, that he should still live forever, that it ceaseth not forever to see corruption. For the redemption of their souls are through God, and precious. For he seeth wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought of their houses forever, their dwelling places to all generations, lands they called after their own name, and they are honorable. Nevertheless, man in honor abideth not. He is also like the beasts that perish. This I speak of them who walk in their way, and forsaketh the Almighty in their folly. Yet their posterity approve their sayings. I like that last change to verse 13. The rest of this is just kind of reordering it. Just make it make a little more sense. Wealth can't redeem anybody. They can't make them so they will live forever, that they will not see corruption. You can't even preserve the body. The body will still become corrupted. But the redemption of the souls is through God and is precious. The soul is precious to God. But I like that last one. This I speak of them who walk in their way. So it's, having a legacy, having a family name that continues through generations is not in itself a bad thing. And we can actually take those things with us through the sealing, through marriage, and the sealing of families, if we do it in God's way. If we follow God, then our families are forever. But we can't try and create an eternal family in mortality. We can't use the prestige of man and think that it will make us immortal, make our legacy immortal, because that does not last. It is the legacy of God and faith that truly lasts forever. I personally like the psalm in both the King James and the Joseph Smith translation. I don't think I like either one better than the other. Even though I will say the King James is a little confusing, a little awkward at points, and Joseph Smith fixes that. But I do want to make this last thing, the last verse there. I love this verse. I want to end with this again. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perisheth. If we have understanding, if we know the gospel, if we understand the doctrines of God and follow his way, then when we die, we have the hope of a glorious resurrection and eternal immortal glory in heaven. But if we have no understanding and we look only to this life to establish ourselves and provide us a legacy to continue our name, then like the beasts, everything ends with death.